Hi guys, this is Lydia, the lifestyle coach ending eating disorders using nothing but your brain. That's exactly what we do, and welcome to another live feed. So excited to have you guys here. Feel free to pop on. This is going to be a really great topic because this comes up all the time. I know there's always a ton of questions. So I want you guys to know that, feel free to, post, comment below with any questions that you have, and I'm happy to answer them live. Or if you're listening to this, playback somewhere, you can still comment on questions and we'll probably still see them and we can start a discussion about it. But normal eating is like the prize, like the holy grail. Like I know that so many of us just want to be normal eaters, to be able to, do the thing that other people do, which is, just get full and then not want to eat anymore or not think about food all the time. Just that normalcy around food. So it's so fun to see you guys on. Hello. This is Lydia, the lifestyle coach, and feel free to hearts and likes and all that stuff. Comment with your own experience and any questions for our topic today. So let's launch right into it about what is normal eating like. So this is what happens is, we really want to be done with our disordered eating, right? Whether it's binge eating or bulimia or overeating or food obsession or body hate or all of that stuff, right? Like the kind of relationship with food that if we had that for the rest of our life, like that is not the life that we want to live. And so with that, of course, we have the desire to be done. But because we've either had disordered eating for so long, or we really just don't trust ourselves with food around, or trust ourselves around food anymore because we've seen how we act with food, then a lot of times we start doubting our ability to be normal eaters. So we don't trust ourselves, we worry about food, we are essentially thinking of how am I going to be a normal eater from the perspective of when we're still disordered eaters, which is a hard perspective. I know that when I had an eating disorder, it was very hard to sort of wrap my head around what normal eating was like because it felt so far away. So today on our live feed, we're really going to dive into what that looks like so you can get an idea and be able to have a concept of what that can feel like and what that really is like, and the myths about what normal eating is like. So a lot of people have an idea in their head about, oh, this is what normal eating is, but that's still disordered eating. It's still not freedom. And so we differentiate that as well. All right. So every time that we go back into this cycle, whether we binge again or whether we restrict again or whether we fall off the wagon or break promises to ourselves, then we have even less trust. And so over time, this is something where we just don't really think we have the ability to be able to eat in a normal way. So what's the reaction to that, right? Well, we've got to put some sort of rules around that. We've got to put some sort of control around that. We've got to, if we can't trust ourselves, then we've got to put ourselves in some sort of boundary or cage. And what that does is it actually makes things worse when we're trying to make it better, which can be super frustrating to be working so incredibly hard to be a normal eater. And then all the things that we're working really hard on and all the things that we're doing, unbeknownst to us, is actually making it worse. So what we've got to do is be able to know what actually works, because what's intuitive oftentimes just makes us more and more distorted in our eating. So years later, it's like after doing this over and over, we start feeling like we're just not ready. Like we have this familiarity with, we've been eating this way. Yeah, we don't want to be binge eating. Yeah, we don't want to, be feeling horrible every night and, wake up with a food hangover. But we don't feel ready because it's been so many years since we've eaten normally, or maybe we don't even remember that. Just step into this normal eating that we found. So it's like, okay, we've got to find the plan first. We've got to find the normal way to eat. We've got to know exactly what that's going to look like. Then we're going to just go on one more diet and we're going to lose the weight, and we're not even going to call it a diet. We're just going to call it clean eating, and we're going to call it a lifestyle. And that is what's going to help us to lose the weight. And then once we have that, oh, thank you guys so much for letting me know about the sound. Let's put in the headset, see if that helps. All right. Can you hear me now better? Oh, something's happening with my audio. Is that better, you guys? Comment right now if you could now hear me, because audio on a live feed is kind of a big deal. All right. Just let me know if you can hear me better now. Okay, I think that's a signal that you can hear me better. All right, cool, cool, cool. Thanks for letting me know. Okay, so let me just recap a little bit because I think that some of that might have been missed. So we have a pattern where, yeah, okay, love, oh, your comments are so great. And feel free to like just, you know, fill this feed with comments and questions, because this is like, you guys can ask about normal eating and I'm here to be interactive with you. So yeah, exactly. Yeah, so cool. So you guys are saying, you know, like, thank you for speaking the truth. Awesome. Love the lights and the hearts. We hear you. Yay. Okay, we have sound back. All right, so let's recap that cycle. So the thing that we do to try to make it better that actually makes it worse is this. We don't trust ourselves with food. And we've gained this weight from binge eating. And so we think, okay, well, what we need to do is we need to figure out the right way of eating for us. We need to figure out the food plan that works for us. We need to figure out the lifestyle choices that work for us. We need to know what normal eating is. Then we're just going to go on one last diet. And we're going to call it a lifestyle change. And we're going to call it clean eating. And we're going to call it just eating healthier, right? But the real hope behind that is it's going to help us to lose that weight so that we can start. Because as soon as we get down to the weight, we certainly couldn't do anything until we lose the weight, right? That's the thought that is in our head. So we say, okay, we're going to do this to try to lose the weight. And then what's going to happen is after that, then I'm just going to step into this new like normal eating thing. Now that I know what it's like, now that I know the right way to eat for me, and then everything's going to be great, because then I can just be a normal eater and I can be done with my binge eating and it's going to be wonderful. And I mean, I'm thinking of one particular woman who came to us who had been doing that for 29 years. Because here's what happens, is that day after day, it adds up to month after month, and it adds up to year after year of we're almost there. We just feel like we're almost there. Like, oh man, I really feel like I found the right way to eat. Now I found normal eating. Now I found the set of rules that I need to keep me on track. And so I'm going to do it. But then we fall off the wagon and we binge again. And then it's like, we need to do something a little more. We need more parameters. We need something more extreme. Like, oh, I guess that wasn't the right way to eat. And this constant journey, this constant, thing that we're trying to find the right way to eat and normal eating is the thing that actually keeps us back from fixing our disordered eating. So what we're going to do is we're going to launch in to really what normal eating is versus disordered eating. And then we're going to talk about how to actually get there. Sound good? Okay, awesome. And go ahead and post any of your comments, you guys, about, what questions you have about normal eating, what questions you have about eating, what questions you have about whatever, right? And then we're going to have a little bit of Q&A if you guys have some questions here. So just for those of you who are new, welcome. So happy that you're here. This is such a fun place. This is a great community. And for those of you who don't know my story, I'll just, recap a little bit. So I was a binge eater, bulimic for years, overeater, even way before that, a lot of disordered relationship with food stuff, but then it got way worse. So this was how eating was like for me. I tracked everything. I had an app on my phone where I would track absolutely everything that I ate, and I knew everything about food. Super into health, super nutritious. You could hold any food in front of my face. I could tell you exactly what a serving was, exactly how many calories were in it, exactly how many grams of protein were in it, and exactly all the horrible things it would do to your body if you ate it. Like, I knew everything there was about food. And I could just, I tracked it all, and I knew exactly how many calories I needed a day, and I knew exactly how many calories I was burning my workouts. I knew exactly how many calories I needed to eat for the next 90 days to be able to lose this much weight, to finally get to my goal weight. So it was always, always, always on my mind. Not just like an importance, I'm going to track everything, but like I was always thinking about eating. Always looking at the clock, when is it the next time that I can eat? And I was on an extremely regimented schedule. I would eat this many times a day, and it would be at this interval throughout the day, and this is what I had to have, and I had to have this amount of water, and I had to have this amount of protein, and I had to have this amount of carbohydrates, which was like, let's keep that as low as it can be. And so everything was very, very controlled because I didn't trust myself around food, because I would do this weird thing that was just like my own brand of crazy that probably nobody else did, and I probably shouldn't tell anybody about because it was really, really weird, where me being the extremely healthy person that I am would just
eat just like a ton of food. And then once I ate a ton of healthy food, then I was like, screw it. Well, then I'm just going to have really what I want since I've already blown it today. And then it would get to less and less and less healthy food. And then I would freak out because I would get really painfully full afterwards, and then really rededicate and start over again. Like tomorrow is going to be the day I'm going to start over. I would literally be binging. Well, I was making my healthy plan, right? All right, well, another peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Okay, well, another bowl of cereal. And I was literally making the plan for the rest of my life while I was binging. Like, all right, man, it's going to feel so good. I mean, because the cereal is just horrible for me. I really shouldn't be eating this, but it's going to feel so amazing to just eat clean from here on out. And I might as well just enjoy one last bowl of cereal, right? Because I'm never going to have it again because this stuff is horrible for you. And I would do that over and over and over. And it was this constant planning about food, worrying about food, counting food. Even though I would track everything on my phone, I would still count it all in my head. And I would still know what I had extra. And I would still wonder, oh, should I count that or not? Man, you know, like a tablespoon of mustard is 7 calories. And, you know, that adds up. You know, you have so many tablespoons of mustard. That's going to, you know, keep me back from my goals. You know, should I track that? Should I not track that? And, you know, I would avoid things, right? You know, I'd, you know, go to parties and try to only eat the vegetables and, you know, leave out everything else. And so it was this constant battle in my mind. And I never felt full. I swear, I went years never feeling full. It was like even when I binged, I didn't feel full. I could just eat and eat and eat. And then it was like the fullness never came. It was literally just the pain of like physically being too full, but nothing ever satisfied. No amount of vegetables, no amount of bowls of cereal, no amount of cookies. Nothing felt like it satisfied me. And I was on this constant quest to just try to feel satisfied, but of course, without sacrificing my goals. And of course, without sacrificing my health. And of course, you know, without gaining weight. But there had to be some way, right? Like there had to be some perfect way of eating where I could just feel good. And trust me, I tried all sorts of things. And so on that quest, it kept me in that cycle for years, and it was miserable. And so I want to describe to you guys, I'm just going to be real with you. Like, I'm just going to like sort of, you know, riff here and let you know exactly what my eating has been like, you know, like in the past few days or just sort of patterns. Like, I'm just going to just describe my life to you, and feel free to ask questions about that. If you're wondering, you know, how that works or how can that be, or, you know, if you have your own ideas of like, is this normal eating? And we can go over that as well. So hello, so fun to see all you guys on. For those of you just popping on, this is Lydia, the lifestyle coach ending eating disorders. So before, it was just always on my mind. I was always worried about it. I was always obsessed about it, and always planned. I mean, I knew everything that I was going to eat. And then I had to recalculate everything if I ever went off of, you know, that plan, right? So nothing could ever be relaxed, and it was all or nothing, right? I was either on my plan or I was off my plan. So, oh, thank you guys for all the lovely hearts. Okay, so this is what eating looks like now. I do not think about food. I just don't. I wake up in the morning and I don't think about food. And I go to bed at night and I don't think about food. And when I wake up in the morning, I'm not calculating my food from yesterday. I'm just awake. I'm thinking of what I need to do that day. I'm focusing on other things. But food is a non-issue. I know this is sort of a weird comparison, but I think about food like I think about going to the bathroom. Like, I don't plan it in intervals throughout the day. I don't think, okay, how many times do I need to go to the bathroom today? And I don't think of what's the right amount of times to go to the bathroom. It's just, okay, when it needs to happen, it needs to happen. Like, that's it. Like, I don't pre-plan it. So I wake up and so the first thing I want to go over is the difference between a plan and then a routine, right? So like when I'm home, I'll usually wake up and I'll have, you know, just like something quick. Like I like to drink something in the morning. So, you know, maybe I'll have like a smoothie. So, you know, I'll have like some almond milk and I'll have some greens and I'll have some peanut butter and I'll have some protein powder and I'll have a banana and I'll have all of these things where before I would, you know, try to have the greens and the almond milk and then like stevia enough to sweeten it so that it wouldn't be super gross. But like the idea of putting something in my food that made it taste good, like a banana or like peanut butter was just like off the table. And now it's just no big deal at all. I have no idea how many calories that is. No idea. I have never calculated the amount of calories in my morning smoothie that I usually have, because I know that when I make it, I just drink it until I'm full. And sometimes I'm just like, oh man, there's only like 4 sips left, but I'm just full. So I just put it back in the fridge and I circle back around later that day when I'm hungry again and I drink the rest of it. Or sometimes I drink all of it and I'm just like, that was good. I don't know, I feel like I still need a little something else. So maybe I'll grab something like some pretzels or like a piece of toast, or maybe I'll have a bowl of cereal with my little girl if she's having cereal. It's just like no big deal. I do not plan when I'm going to eat during the day. If I have a super busy day schedule-wise, so I want you to notice the difference here. I'm not planning my food around what the right way to eat is, around what I need to do to make everything perfect for my body and my weight loss and my whatever goals. When I plan my food, it's around how busy I am. Now, if I have sessions back to back for like 4 or 5 hours, I know I'm going to get hungry sometime in there. I can look ahead and be like, oh, I'm going to get hungry. So like I'll get some food and I'll have a stash on my desk so that I can eat, between sessions. So I'll set myself up like that for success. But it has nothing to do with trying to manipulate my body or try to make it do anything. It's literally like oh, I'm busy, I should probably have some snacks around. Here's the other thing, you guys. I can have snacks on my desk. If I would have had food that I could see back in my crazy days, I would have thought about it all the time. Like it would have literally distracted me. Like, oh my gosh, should I eat that? Oh, is it time to eat that? Oh, can I eat that now? Maybe I can eat half of it. What if I had a bite of it? Oh, I'm kind of hungry. Oh, I should wait. Oh, but if I eat now, then it's not going to be long enough, between, now and the next meal. And my brain would have kept going back to it. Food, 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 food. I should. Like I can just put like a bowl of whatever food on my desk. I can have like a whole, thing of a cornucopia. That doesn't sound right. Cornucopia? Cornucopia? What's the thing? Like the horn of plenty. Cornucopia. Is it cornucopia? Anyway, that word is not working for me right now. You know what I mean. I can have that full of granola bars and it's just like, why would I think about it? Why would I just have mental energy toward that? Because they're there. They're always going to be there. If they're gone, I can go to the store and get more. Like it's no big deal. I have no idea what's in my cupboard. Like I'll go shopping and I might have an idea of like, oh yeah, I think we have cherries in the house right now. But I used to track everything in my brain. Like I could write a list of all the foods and the quantities in my cupboard and my fridge, like everything. And then maybe some stashes of candy somewhere else. Like I knew where everything was. It was like constantly like managing and counting like all of the food in the house. And I really have like, I could not for the life of me, like you could like, to save my life, I could not name what all is in my pantry. I'm just not sure. I have stuff surprise me all the time. I'm like, oh wait, we have that? Crazy. So I'm not ever eating to impact my body. What's happened is that at my set point weight, your weight is sort of like a thermostat, right? So if you eat in a way where you're putting on a little more weight, then your body changes your metabolism and your body adjusts your hunger and fullness signals so that you just go back down. And then if I'm eating in a way where my body's burning a little more fat and I like, go down a little bit, then my hunger goes up and my metabolism slows down and I just go back up. So what happens with normal eating after a while, when your hunger and fullness signals come back, is that it's just like you don't need to think that much about what you're eating because your body figures it out. Like you're not in charge. This whole calories in, calories out thing is just so ridiculous. Like it's so ridiculous. Yes, of course, if you're binge eating and you're like eating all of these thousands of extra calories, yeah, your metabolism is going to break. The rapid weight gain is going to start. Absolutely. But in normal eating, just like, okay, you just eat stuff, then your body's going to figure it out. Like you literally have a metabolism. You have all of these mechanisms in your body that keep your body healthy and keep your body where it needs to be. And so I don't need to worry about that. I'm just going to eat what I want. Speaking of eating what I want, with normal eating, it's just something where you have what you feel like. Like if I have a morning when I wake up and I don't really want to eat my smoothie, I just eat something else. If I feel like having something, more like, hearty and delicious for dinner, and I don't really feel like having a salad, then I have that. Or if I feel like, oh, I want something more fresh, it's something that it's just not a big deal. Not a big deal. Just having what you want. Like you have a good idea of what you want, and then you just have that. And if you have something that wasn't quite what you wanted, no big deal. You're going to eat every day for the rest of your life. Now, this is what it was like before. If I let myself, I'm going to put that in quotes, let myself have something, like a piece of pizza, heaven forbid, for dinner, and it wasn't quite like the best pizza in the world, like I let myself have something, and then like it wasn't as satisfying as I hoped, like it was the end of the world. Like I had multiple times where I would cry. Like it was a really emotional thing for me that I let myself have something and it wasn't as good as I hoped because it was a really big deal. And it was very sad to miss out on that when I allowed myself that thing. And it was just a miserable thing. I mean, if I go and I order a sandwich and it's not that great, all I know is that that place doesn't make great sandwiches. Like that's it. That's all. And you move on. So I wanted to share this with you guys because, thinking of this live feed coming up, yesterday I just had, long day, just like all good stuff, but it's just like, I was pretty worn out. I'd done a lot already. And so, I'm just there and I'm just like, oh, what do I want? My little girl, she was eating some cereal and I'm like, oh, I want like a bowl of cereal. I want like, I think what we had in the cupboard was like Cheerios and like frosted wheat things. What are those called? And so I was like, oh, frosted wheaty, whatever, sound better. I'm like, oh, and I want a sliced up banana on it. And I don't want almond milk. I want cow's milk. That just sounded good. Like it felt nurturing to me, right? It felt like what I wanted after a long day. So I poured it in a bowl and I didn't measure anything. I didn't think about, I just put an amount in a bowl that made sense. And literally, like I'm thinking of this because I would have in my crazy days measured it all and really known exactly what was in there. But it never even occurred to me how much I was putting in. I just literally put some cereal in a bowl and then I sliced up a banana on top and then I poured some milk. And I just sat and I just like ate outside and it was really nice and I was just sort of taking a break. And then my stomach felt full and satisfied. And it was actually like, thinking of talking to you guys today, I was just filled with gratitude. Like I actually started crying because I was just like, there is such a pleasure in food. There is such a comfort and a pleasure of eating something yummy and feeling your stomach be full and then just not wanting anymore because you're satisfied. And that is something that I didn't have for years in my life. Like for years. And it's something that I'm so grateful for, that I just want every person in the world that feels horrible about food to be able to have, like to just be able to eat a meal and move on and have the joy and the pleasure of food. Because it's not about just normal eating. It's about having all of the good stuff about food in your life. Having all like the wonderful, beautiful experience of food and taste of food and texture of food and occasion of food. And just like food is a wonderful, beautiful, nurturing thing. Like having some chocolate after a stressful day and enjoying it. Like normal eaters do that. It's not a bad thing. Normal eating doesn't mean that you just, want to eat lettuce and grilled chicken for the rest of your life. Like it means that you just don't have a lot of mental energy that goes toward food. That's like a big thing. Okay, here's another thing is people ask me a lot of times, well, do you just eat the same way every day or does it change? So here's another thing about normal eating is, if you eat, like, for instance, like when I travel, right? And I'm going to say, I mean, this is something that is a common thing, the normal eating thing for, all of our clients that we coach, like they just understand what normal eating is like now. But I'm just saying me because I'm just talking from my own experience. But no, it's not just me. Like we have like hundreds and hundreds of people who have gotten free with the same experience. So like when I'm traveling a lot, maybe I'm eating out more and it's just, more greasy food, more heavier food, maybe more fried stuff, which is fine, right? But then when I come home, it's like, man, we've been eating out a lot. Like I would really like just, some more fresh stuff, like maybe I'll want some more vegetables or fresh fruit or, some food that's a little more light and leafy and delicious. And that is a natural thing. Like, oh, we've been eating out a lot. I feel like eating healthier. Or, if I've just sort of been in my routine at home and I'm eating more healthy, I'm just like, man, I haven't had a good dessert in a long time. Like, I just want to go out and get some dessert tonight. And notice how it's not ever to make up for anything. It is a natural thing where it's like, oh, I'm eating less healthy. Now I desire to eat healthier. Or I've been eating healthy a lot. It would be fun to mix it up. That variety is a natural desire in life. Like, it's a great and it's a fun thing. But back in my crazy days, it was always trying to manipulate my body. If I was eating healthier, it was to make up for when I was eating less healthy. If I ate something unhealthy, it was because I had earned it by eating so many days healthily. Everything was a barter and a bargain. I couldn't ever have a sweet unless I earned it. I couldn't ever have a sweet unless I paid that off later. It's this constant, debt and saving, and it's really exhausting. So I want you guys to understand that that is a natural and a normal thing. So, eating in a way that serves you. So a lot of times people have this question about like, but sugar is evil, but sugar is so bad for you. But if you eat unhealthy, you're going to get diabetes. Well, if you're continuing to have a disordered relationship with food and binge eat, you're going to get diabetes. I'm not saying absolutely that you will. I'm saying that that's more likely than if you just eat normally. A dessert once a week, a dessert 4 times a week is way better for you than no dessert, no dessert, no dessert, all the dessert, all tonight, because we're never going to have dessert again. That is way harder on your body to have 3 dozen cookies at one time than it is to have a cookie every day for weeks and weeks. So just know that being able to have something that tastes good is not a bad thing. Your body can totally handle it. Oh, but there are toxins in that. Oh, but this is something that is just, not good for your body. That's what you have a liver for. You can have an alcoholic drink. Alcohol is like a poison for your body, but it's fun and it feels cool and it's a nice social feeling. And you know what? People can have a drink, and you have this amazing organ called a liver that filters out toxins in your body, so you can have stuff that's not super healthy for you and still be fine. Now, if with your liver you dump a whole bunch of unhealthy stuff all at once on it, it's going to have a harder time handling it. But it can totally handle whatever you throw at it with normal eating, because none of it is extreme. None of it is a big deal. And that's an important thing, is that you can absolutely be healthy. Look into my eyes and know you can be healthy even if you eat some unhealthy food sometimes. That is normal eating. That is health. Now, if you don't feel like sugar serves you and you don't want to eat it, cool, fine. You don't have to eat it. There are people with allergies to peanuts. You don't have to eat peanuts. They'll kill you. There is no one food that you have to eat to be healthy. There is no, one thing that you need to do. There is no one food that you have to not eat if you're a healthy person. You can just literally have what you want when you have these hunger and fullness signals back, and when you're in a place of normal eating and your body can figure it out. So, and you'll have an idea, you'll know. So it's for instance, sugar tends to make me tired. I don't really like how I feel when I eat a lot of sugar. But sometimes there's an occasion where it's oh man, this frozen custard is awesome and it's the kind that I really like. Okay, great. And maybe I'll have that for a few nights in a row. And, it's just something that's sort of unique and fun. Okay, cool. So then I'll feel a little more tired. I'm no wonder I'm tired. I have eaten more sugar recently. There's no guilt. There's no shame. There's no making up for it. It's literally just oh, well, maybe I won't eat sugar tomorrow. Not like a line in the sand, I'm making a plan, no more sugar. It's just you know what? I don't really feel eating sugar, because I just want to I've had a lot of sugar and I'm just going to sort of even out. It's a no big deal thing. It's not a decision. It's not a declaration. It's not a forever thing whatsoever. So it's really just about fitting food in your life as a non-issue. Yeah, you can plan your meals. Yeah, you can be healthy. But you can do that in a much healthier way when you're in this place of normal eating and you're able to just relax. Now, let's talk about how to get there. All right, first, just post with any sort of questions that you guys have with normal eating before we move on to the next thing, so we can loop back around to that. But if not, let's just talk about getting there. So here is a huge misunderstanding, and we need to bust this myth right now, is you have to learn how to eat normally. You have to figure out how to eat normally. So let's just be totally clear. Just gonna lay it all out on the table here. All the normal eating that I experience, all of these superpowers of being able to stop when I'm hungry, or stop when I'm full, just eat when I'm hungry, just to be able to go along and live my life and have food not be a big deal. I didn't do anything to learn that. Zero effort. I didn't read a book on normal eating. I mean, not to have that. I mean, I read a million books on normal eating when I was a disordered eater, but I didn't do any effort. And a lot of times we think, especially, I mean, we've had so many clients that they started binge eating when they were 5 years old. They have no memory of normal eating. So sometimes there's this idea of like, well, I don't even know how to eat normally. So how am I ever going to do that? Because I have to learn. I have to know what to do. You do not have to learn how to eat normally. Guess what your body does? Guess what your body is designed to do and has had practice with your genetics for thousands of years, is to eat normally. That is something that has never had to be taught to a human being. You never have like some child born in anywhere in the world where it's just like, well, they just didn't survive. I mean, there may be some rare cases, you guys, yeah, you can throw some like rare cases up there, but I'm talking about like humans in general, where it's like, oh, well, that person never learned how to eat, so I guess they just died. Like, we all have a drive to eat. The first day that we're born, what do? We want to eat. Like, that is a totally, totally natural thing. So here is how you actually get there. This is the only way to actually get there, is to fix your disordered eating first. That does not mean learning how to eat normally. That does not mean losing the weight, and that does not mean having a plan. It means, number one, you fix your disordered eating. You've got to root out the binge eating, the overeating, the bulimia, the food obsession, all of that. And once you get the disordered eating out of the way, you don't have to learn how to eat normally. That's just what's behind this disordered eating. Pull back the curtain of disordered eating, and behind it is just the normal eating that your body already knows how to do. But your body needs to learn to trust you, and your body needs to learn that you're not going to starve it anymore, and your body needs to learn and trust some of those things. Give yourself some patience and time once the disordered eating is gone. But this is what comes up over and over and over with our clients, is that when they're done, when after 35 years of binge eating, they are done and out of the cycle and they're not doing any of that anymore, then they get really surprised by how natural the normal eating is. Like, we do like little celebrations as soon as hunger and fullness signals come back, right? It's like, with our clients, they're like, oh, whoa, I felt full today. Like, I ate food and then I just didn't want more food because I was full. Whoa, how cool is that, right? So it's one of these things that just naturally comes up. Your metabolism fixes itself. Your body is very good at healing, and your body is very good at eating. So I want you guys to realize that this is sort of a picture of normal eating. And just a disclaimer here, I'm just going to say it. This is not a meal plan. Do not try to listen to this live feed 20 times and try to eat exactly the way that I said that I ate. Sometimes you have people that are just like, okay, well, if I can just eat the way that Lydia eats. No, this is not a meal plan. How I eat changes all the time, and it's not a planned thing. You are going to figure it out for your own life as long as you can get the disordered eating out of the way. So, one day I may have, a smoothie in the morning and a protein shake while I'm working, and then have like some sort of like beef salad rice thing for lunch. and then have pizza for dinner, or have lasagna for dinner, or have a salad for dinner, and then maybe have like a snack. Like the other day, I was just sort of like munchy and just like, oh, I just want to eat something. And so I just opened my cupboard, which I had no idea that was what was in it. And I opened my cupboard and I had like peanut butter filled pretzels, and I'm like, ooh, those things are yummy, but there were only like 5 left in the bag. So I was like, oh, well, I'll dip them in Nutella, right? So I dipped them in Nutella and they were delicious, and I had like 5 of them, and then I just didn't have the energy to have anything else. I didn't want to make something else, so I just went to bed. Like, it's a zero big deal. And then some days I'm traveling and I'm eating out a lot, and some days I'm super busy and I don't eat much, and then I'm like super hungry at the end of the day, so I just eat. So just know, like, it's not a big deal. This is not a meal plan for you. This is something that I want you to understand comes with zero effort once you get the disordered eating out of the way. Your body will show you that it knows what it's doing. And I know that it can be scary. And I know that it can feel hard, especially when we've seen ourselves try to loosen up a little bit and then we just go crazy and we binge. I totally get that. But it's because a lot of times the way that we're loosening up or trying to be allowing is actually the thing that makes it worse, right? It perpetuates it. So you've got to know how to do it correctly so that your brain can make those new changes, and so you can let the disordered eating really permanently be done. If you have a Band-Aid on that, if you have a control on that, it's just not going to be lasting. So I hope this helps you guys. Thanks so much for tuning in. Oh, this is good. Oh, yeah, cornucopia. Oh, man, I should have scrolled down on the comments. I didn't see you guys were commenting because I didn't scroll down. Okay, awesome. But great questions. And we can have more discussion about this as well. Yay. Oh, I love it. Thank you guys for all of your support. Oh, and somebody asked, this is a great question, is it a plan or a routine to say, I can have breakfast, lunch, and dinner and snacks? So again, if it's like a plan of like you're trying to stick to it, like, okay, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to have this many meals at this time, and I'm going to have snacks. Look at the energy behind it, right? And then realize that if it's not something that's just, okay, energy behind it, let me back up. The energy is like, okay, this is my plan, this is what I'm going to do. Then you're still in like this regimented, like, it sounds like you're still trying to control your eating, right? If it's like a convenience thing of like, oh yeah, it makes sense, like this sort of fits into my day. Okay, awesome. But know that that will never be successful unless you have the disordered eating out of the way first. Like, you can't try to make like this plan for yourself to try to get your disordered eating to go away. You've got to end your disordered eating, and then those plans are very easy to make and to put in place, and they're not a big deal. But you can't reverse it because that keeps you in the cycle forever. Yeah. Okay, so somebody else is asking, eating what you want when you're hungry, stopping when you're full. How do you get there? I think that we probably answered that as we continued with the live feed. It's just, it naturally comes up. Your body has natural hunger and fullness signals that it will turn off when you are binging or restricting. If you are restricting, your body will turn off your fullness signals because it wants you to keep eating because it's worried for you. And then your hunger and fullness signals are so out of whack that you can like binge on like 5,000 calories and never feel full because they're just gone. No, those things come back, but you don't have to do something besides ending your disordered eating to get those to come back. They're a natural thing, but your body's trying to protect you. It's trying to turn them off. Anyway, oh, thank you. This is beautiful. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Adore you guys. Love all of your comments. It's been so fun to have you on today. More live feeds to come. Let's keep doing it. If you would like to be able to end your disordered eating, I assume that's why you're here. If that's something that you would like, then the first step is you can actually book a free session with us. You can go to lifewithlydia.com/apply and have a free session where we're going to get the foundation of freedom together. Freedom with the clarity of where you're at right now, really what your picture of normal eating and freedom is for you, and then any missing pieces to get you there. And that is a service that we offer. I know that the calendar is crazy right now and we're really booked up. Get on the waiting list if you need to, but know that we're going to, our goal is to help everyone who wants to be done with their disordered eating to be done and free. Like, that's what we do. So hang in there, and always feel free to shoot us an email if it's more urgent. If you're just like this is I've got to be done. Let's see what we can do with the schedule to be able to accommodate you. But like, pop over there right now, and if you see a spot, like, grab it. like book it, like do what you need to in your day, get a babysitter, like go into work late, like do what you need to, because this will be one of the best hours that you have ever spent in your life on ending your disordered eating. And so you can pop over there to lifeoflydia.com/apply. Thank you guys so much for being on. Adore you all. Mwah, mwah, mwah.